Mate, two games, two big wins. I mean, how does that? What was that like for you?
Yeah, we almost. I joked with the boys at the end. We almost snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. So it was gutsy again. Like we got some guys playing some high minutes over the weekend, and again Drew cramping up at the end, battling through it. I thought Al came out and provided some real serviceable minutes when Ray needed that breather as well. We made some quick rotations based on matchups and plays that we felt like we could get some looks at. I thought we had a lot of good looks that didn't drop. And on the other side of the coin, I think we got away kind of lucky with a few good looks by Sydney. A couple of times we're probably a little bit too deep in the gap. Some late closeouts. We missed some good ones. I think Sydney missed some good ones. But it was great that the boys could obviously just find a way to win.
How big of a win is that you've seen from this type ends unit that you've coached? I mean, any type ends unit, considering no Sam, obviously the issues with the input point guard coming in late, he's still clearly underdone. You know he's going to be outstanding for you. And a fairly new group with, obviously Admiral's coming in and Rain's coming in. And yet how you found ways to win early on, and particularly this game.
I think we're the only team that's got a brand new starting five, different. Now, obviously, if Wardenberg wasn't hurt, he'd be in the lineup. But right now, we've got a brand new starting five. We're paying $4 coming into this game. I think, I think we're paying $3.50 or $3 on the home game against Brisbane. So, right now we're just basically playing a little bit of catch up in a sense of, I talk about Rain, for example. Rain came in hurt. He only really got one good week of practice in to then move into the starting group. So he's someone that gets forgotten about in a sense of he's coming in a little bit late, but he's playing catch up. But it's a good group. Mentally, they know what needs to get done. Finding ways to win is half the battle. When Marcus is crushing it and then he sees a potential matchup out there where he says, hey, get KG on for this one and takes a seat. That's, there are not a lot of imports that are saying sub me out to put in a guy because it can be better for a matchup wise. So, we're learning as we go, as most teams are. I know a lot of teams have got injuries and so forth, but I don't think anyone expected us to win except for the 11 guys in that room. And now, we're going to take a flight home tonight and give them the day off tomorrow and prepare for another team we're probably going to be picked, $4 to win against Adelaide.
Jack McVeigh, obviously an outstanding weekend from him, but how much confidence does it give you knowing that he's out there, he's going to make the right read, he's going to make the right play, he's going to hit the big shot at a critical juncture, which he did several times tonight?
Yeah, he's a cheat code. There's a lot of times the biggest fault right now, and again, as we're learning to play with Jack, is we ball watch and spectate. So as teams start to, double him and help him more on other guys, we've got to start doing a better job off the ball, giving him some options because he's a willing passer. I don't know what he finished with assists tonight, but he had 9 on Brisbane. So, he's a willing passer. We've got to do a better job against some options. But, right now, he made some big plays when the offense was dead. Drew made some big plays when the offense was dead. So, it makes coaching relatively easy when you just got to get them the ball in their favourite spot, and he's basically doing what he's been doing for the last 10 years, just playing one-on-one. But that will change, so we've got to give him some options.
And you feel like you got fortunate. Obviously, the issues with Ashton Havens didn't happen, and you bring in Andrew Andrews, who stepped off the plane. What is it now? Not even 72 hours.
Yeah.
And has played great basketball in 2 games, and you can see where the shot's going to come, but he's also a bit of a floor leader as well. Yeah,
it was interesting because I don't follow a lot of social media, but you get a bit of a buzz from just the work. And I know there's some new faces and personalities in me, but there was one that was referring to Andrew's a downgrade, and I'm like, the dude's played 10 years in leagues that you couldn't believe. We hyping up Panathinaikos. He suited up for those guys. He's won everywhere he's gone. And even his story, if you get to know him and want to learn more about him, his story last year about the team he was with, the Wolves, and how now they're folded, but they got to postseason basketball and what he did in terms of on and off the court to lead that team. When people saying Andrew, but again, I think smart basketball people know how good he is. I don't think he's going to fly under the radar, and when he gets his legs, he's only going to be better. Beautiful.
I'll just check if anything online, guys. Hang on a second, please.
Forde, just a couple quickly. The bounce back this weekend, obviously your first game was a tough one, but to get these 2 wins inside 48 hours and do it against, two pretty physical and, powerful teams, I mean, what does this say about your playing group?
Yeah, I mean, it says a lot. I got an echo.
Sorry.
Thank you. The biggest mistake, because, and again, I don't want to refer to the group last year, but those guys were like so good, and basketball was so good, and they played their hearts out for me. But it was my mess up that I left that too late. It wasn't until the New Year's Eve game against New Zealand where I've sort of reverted back to my factory setting of being overly aggressive, and then the response rate is 4 days later we go down and win in Illawarra. And so I reflect on that season and go, that's on me as a coach, things you want to learn and get better. So, the game we had against Southeast, there's lots of factors you could factor in. Dudes had COVID and guys were coming in late and playing out of position and everything. But I thought I wouldn't be doing them a justice if I didn't sit here and go, well, it's not like we lost by 4, we lost by 37. And that's not good enough with the lineup we got and the investment everybody's making. And then Brisbane home game was close to sellout, and this is how amazing the community is that we had the season we had last year, and then we lose by 37 in round 1, and then the whole community shows out to see these guys perform. So I had to draw a line in the sand, knowing these guys would respond. It's not like a bluff. Like, I know these guys would respond, and they did. So now again, like we started the season 3-1 last year. We beat Melbourne in Melbourne. We beat Adelaide at home. We beat Ted. We started the season 3-1, and then like injuries and everything. So we're not sitting here thinking, oh, okay, like start picking us or anything along those lines. Like, this is now we go home, we rest, we recover, and we prepare for Adelaide, who are a very dangerous team. We can't take our foot off the pedal. We just got to keep adding layers to it.
You talk about responding. How important was it for Marcus to stay out there tonight? I mean, it was he was able to play 28 minutes and stayed out of foul trouble for the game, and that was crucial.
Yeah, because he's not a dummy. Like, when we spoke about it afterwards, we're up 12, he fouls out, and now we're down 2, and he's a large piece, especially with Wardenberg being out. He's a large piece of what we need. So that's where we were able to work with some matchups that we liked, and Marcus was great in his rim protection and rebounding and his leadership, but he also knew when he could sit out, because when Sydney got a little bit more small ball and they're a little bit faster, that's a good opportunity to put Al and KG out there. And obviously when Suarez is out there with his length and his size, we went back to Marcus. So we need him. He fouls out, we're in a world of hurt.
Just lastly, you talked about sort of the odds and people writing you off and being underdogs. Is that something you use to the playing group, or is it just something nice to point out afterwards?
No, I think the opposite. My first 4 years, we sat there and we talked about being the underdogs. This year, we spent a lot of money. Like, we got guys who played. When you've got 2 guys that have played in the NBA and someone's making $1 million, and Drew, for example, has come in and he's played in every professional European league and done really well. And then you've got, Wardenberg, who's scheduled to come back in. Like, you're not tricking anyone thinking that these guys are extremely good athletes and they're professionals and they're the top of their game. I'm not going to trick them by thinking we're underdogs. We'll use it in a sense of like, F everybody, it's us versus the world. But to sit here and think that, we're like the cans of before coming in. No. We've spent with what the big city clubs are. So now there's an expectation. And the expectation, right, is, you got to perform. And the boys did. Beautiful. I got a flight to catch. We good? All right. Done. All right, everybody. Enjoy.